of Dr. Castro as he spoke in the Edith Memorial Chapel on Tuesday morning, April the 21st at 9 o'clock.
There are many people in this country of ours, and quite a few of you here in this gathering, who are studying or reading history. There are some of us among you who are trying to teach history. But it is a rare seen fit to take time out of a crowded and exhausting schedule to come here to speak to us. It is a great privilege to be able to introduce to you the leader and hero of our respected sister republic, Cuba, Dr. Fidel Castro.
Happens to me always the same thing here in the United States. And I don't know in which place I am going to have my hard job, because as you ought to think, when I face your sympathies, your hospitality, and if in this case it's a group of young, enthusiastic students, I feel something sad of not knowing well the English to express my emotion. You know what happened? I was a student like you, and I think I lost some time when I was studying English in the school. That is why I advise you that you study well the Spanish, for if you have some opportunity of visiting the Cubans or any other country of Latin America, and suppose one of you in Cuba, in some hall with several hundreds of students, and that you have to make a speech in Spanish. Well, with me, people think I used to speak too long in Cuba, not here. But sometimes here, too, in the United States, I have spoken. How is my grammar, teacher? I have spoken sometimes about more than what I believe. But in this case, I am sorry. It's possible you be interested in something about Cuba, about our revolution, about our fight for freedoms. But in this case, I cannot speak long here for two reasons. One, because the train is waiting, and I have a large program. And here in the United States, somebody have taught me to be punctual. Second, because my English this morning didn't wake up very clear this morning. Well, but I am very happy of being here. I sympathize very much with the young people because this revolution was made in our country and was led by young people. If you look to Cuba, do you see that those who are governing the country, all they are young people, men of 30, 20 years. The chief of the army, of the army is a man no more than 25 years. The chief of the Navy is a young man too. The chief of the Air Force, young man. All they are young men. And that proves that it is true that the best thing can be waited by the young people. In our country, the old people didn't do well things, good things. And the young people is trying to do well. And the young people was who made possible to overthrow the dictatorship. You know well what happens. Our fathers, for example, those who are with more experience with us because we are young, believe that we, the young, do not know how to do the things. It's possible that in many things it be necessary experience, but in those political job, those fight for ideals, anybody is so good as the young man. Only the young men are able of the most hard sacrifice, are more pure people, more out of interest, on interest people. And I have seen it in our country, all the sacrifices that the young people did. Thousands of them were killed during the fight. Most of them not in the battlefield. Most of them in the city as a repression by the dictatorship, where most of them killed in the night without opportunity of defending. They were arrested, many times disappeared. But our young people was never afraid of continuing. More persecution, more terror, more decided they were to continue the fight. That is why it was possible, the victory. It was possible for the braveness of our young people, and other thing very much important, by the faith. We at the beginning were not strong. We at the beginning were a few lot of young men in which nobody believed. All fight, all enterprise at the beginning is very much hard, because are few those who believe in one. And at the beginning, there were many leaders in our country. They had the attention of the people. And we needed to work very hard to open way. At the beginning, we were defeated several times. And in the last attempt, we were defeated too. We rested with 2 men and 2 rifles. We joined again 12, 15, 20 men, and again we were dispersed. We joined again 18, 15, and we were dispersed again. So about 3 times we were almost completely defeated, but we start new more, and so we began to grow until training becoming stronger, and so with few resources fighting against a modern well-armed army, but without ideals, without moral. And this faith, that faith made possible our victory. So there is not other important thing in the life that believing in what we are doing, believing in our ideals. Somebody said that faith made possible to translate the mountains. And I believe, because huge difficulties that seems to be impossible of overthrown, okay, I suppose they understand me. Impossible to save, overcome. Impossible that seems to be impossible to overcome, it is possible at the last. That is why every time when I find the young people, I feel an special emotion, because I know that the nations and the big ideals can wait all from the Jews, because only in the Jews, I repeat, big ideals can start a way. And only in the Jews there is the faith, the enough faith, and enough energy to become they real. In our country we are waiting. We are beginning now. The job at the first time was hard, but it continued being hard now, because in the first time it was physical effort. Now we have to govern our country. It is not an easy matter. We believe that theoretically it is easy, but in the reality it is too a hard job, because the nations are formed for millions of people with their feelings, their passions, their interests. But in spite of that, we are finding a lot of witness in our people wishing to help us. When the people see that you are honest, that you are sincerely, and that you want to do the best, they don't bother if you mistake one or two or three times, or the time that many times. But the people interest is honesty and the wish for the government of doing the thing best possible. Yes, they are remembering the train. But I am going to finish. I suppose you would like to know the history of Cuban Revolution. I suppose you as young men would like to know every difficult we happened, which was our life, why we could resist, how we got the victory in the battlefield, and which are our ideals and how we are getting them. But it would take me a long time. I hope to find you again. For that opportunity, I promise you to improve my English so that you can understand me clear. I invite you to go to Cuba to see what is happening in that neighbor country. So one summer, or when you have time, with your teachers, you can organize a travel to Cuba. We will do all possible so that it be a cheap travel, so that you have no difficulty there. And you will find there many interesting things. You can go to the Sierra Maestra too, if you want to see the place where our fight took place. And we invite you to go to Cuba. And in that time, or in another time, I will speak you with time enough. And I will fulfill the wish that I have not now. We wait very much of you, the joy of this big nation. You are the hope of the nation, and you, the Jews, are the hope of we, those neighbors of the United States. We want to find friendship here in this country, and that is why we are very much happy in having our best friends in you, the students, because in the future you will be the leaders and the directors of this nation. And so you can do very much for your country and for the friendship with the other country of Latin America. I want to express my gratitude to your teacher and to you for this honor of this visit, because I came gladly. and it is for me a honor being received for the young people of this school. Thanks.
You're asked, please, to remain in your seats until the party has been able to leave. Thank you. Mr. Ely will not be able to meet his class today. He will see the group tomorrow. Mr. Ely's class in Latin American history will not meet this morning.